the chapter 1, then moving forward to the second part. I think pretty much today I'm going to finish the introduction of the operating system. From the next week we will start the process management, which will be the main part of the operating system. I don't know what happens whenever I open the new PowerPoint file. My system is very slow. Okay, so I think we talked about the dual mode last time. So what is a dual mode? It's a kernel mode and the user mode. So to protect the system and for convenient, we are not going to allow each user to access the system itself, right? Instead, there is a kernel mode who is in charge of to access the system library that can handle the system resource. The main part of the operating system is what? To coordinate unlimited resource. So to do that, the system processor, system kernel should have enough power permission to access the resource. In other words, it's dangerous if kernel let the other process to access the, for example, memory. It may be duplicated and something conflict situation. So instead of each user to access the system resource or the system library, instead we send it just called the system API. In other words, it's called the system core. Okay, each operating system provides at least 100 something and up to the 200 system library. So that kernel will execute such a system core received from the requested by each user, then just return the output of that. That is the dual mode and the user and kernel mode. Using that such a dual mode, the operating system is in charge of the process management. We have talked a lot about that process management, but from chapter 3 we are going to discuss details about each one, especially focusing on the algorithm. So we can quickly go jump some slide. This is a data structure of what? It's a data structure of what? You have seen before, right? It's a memory right? For it's a memory structure for what? It's a process. Okay, what is a process? Process can be defined as the program list of the instruction, right? Which are loaded to the suddenly it is pop up with the PC button. I think that it's a good idea to let them know about the situation, then it will be fixed. Anyway, so this is the actual memory. Okay, then in the memory it should be structured. All the thing, as I said, all the thing that you are going to discuss, you have learned in this department is the data structure. It's a data structure. It's a very simplified format for process, which means it has a list of the instruction that is the text segment. Each process has their own data structure. So general process data structure consists of the text segment, text part, which include the list of the instruction loaded from the hard disk drive. It's a program, and also it has the data segment. For example, it's a from low address and high, which means it's starting from here and growing up to certain limited area. So, who decide such a data structure? Each operating system has a general structure of the process. Based on that, on top of that, each compiler convert high-level languages, source file coded by the user to the such a data structure. Okay, so when you make, if you want to make the new compiler program, okay, so I need the program language. So definitely, which means you have the certain use case and everything, as well as the compiler. Okay, at that time you need to design such a process model, process structure. So I'm going to use the basically 32K process. 32K consists of the 2K of the text segment and the 4K of whatever. That is your job when you build a compiler. But that should be based on the operating system data structure. For example, if we are using 32-bit, that is definitely different from the 64-bit processing. So that is the reason if you have the compiled program on the 32-bit, sometimes it doesn't work the 64-bit because they are different. Even though you are using the same operating system like the Windows, definitely it should be compiled again. It doesn't work. It's not as long as that support, unless it support the compatibility between the different ones. Okay. So basically, the process consists of the text segment and the data segment. It has a global variable. Global variable should be accessible from the old your thread that we are going to discuss later. Within your program, they should be accessible. And also, it has a heap and the stack segment. For example, the heap is going from bottom to up, and the stack is top to bottom, right? So usually, heap is used for the local area, and the stack is used for temporary storage, which means in using garbage collector from time to time while the process is running, it can be flushed out. Okay, so that is the stack and the heap data structure. Also, you can specify the size of the heap if you want to allocate the space for your memory. You can specify the heap area. For example, when you run your Java program, you can use the Java command, right? At that time, you can specify the heap size, which means you can allocate the more size of the heap area. You can use the bigger size of the process. Yeah. That is the general data structure that we are going to discuss in the chapter 3 and 4. So, but there are commands and the program that can easily access the information about the process. For example, in Unix or Linux environment, they provide a PS command. Using the PS command, you can see some of the important information like who is the user, who create this process. So each line indicates the process. It has the process ID and parent process ID. As I explained, the Unix, the current the operating system process are created by the parent process. So they will form a tree structure. It's a process tree. So, for example, this process ID is 229. It's a parent process, which means this 227 created 227 somewhere here, whether it's not displayed here. Is there any the 227? It's not here. So 227 create the SMC root, whatever that is, and the others are 1, which means 1 is the usually, not always, as a kernel processor. Some of the operating system use the 0 for kernel process. Then 0 create the 1 process ID. Then 1 create the other system process. This not always this is created by the kernel process. It can be daemon process. What is the daemon process, by the way? I think I explained in the other classes. Sometimes I got confused whether I explained this one in this class or not. Daemon process is like what is the example of the daemon process that you know? I think you are using it right now. When you access the internet, what happens? From browser, you can request some of the information using what? Address. So it's a URL. Eventually, URL will be converted by the IP address using DNS, right? Then it has the destination. That then destination has what? Process. Okay? It's a computer. So computer works with all the process. It has a process. What kind of process is that? Web server. Web server means it's a web process that can manage the request of such a web browser, especially for what? HTTP protocol. Okay? What is a HTTP protocol? According to the OSI 7 layer, it has a blah 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 blah. I forgot most of that. In the TCP/IP layer, and next is the application layer. HTTP is such a layer, right? So based on TCP/IP protocol, it has the application layer. It's a protocol. That's the reason it's HTTP, hypertext whatever. So then it's a process. So there is a process, and they can handle the request of such a web information. So I'm going to return the document that he requests. At that time, who am I? I'm the process. But I should be available 24 hours a day, even though somebody may create me, which means I have the parent process, right? So she is the administrator. So she create me. Her ID is the 10 and I'm the 11. So I should have the 10 and my parent ID 11, which means if she log out, I'll be killed. That's the process tree. But no administrator, webmaster want to sit on the chair and log in, keep logging. No, they want to log out. However, even though log out, the process should be running, right? At that time, you can disconnect the parent and children relationship. You want to be independent, right? So you want to disconnect the relationship with the parents? No, please do not do that. Your parents want keep their children next to. However, sometimes you need to do that at the time. Firstly, disconnect such a parent and children relationship, then change this parent ID into kernel one. That is called the daemon process. Sometimes daemon process has a parent process ID 1. Also, another example of the parent process ID is equal to 1 is zombie process. It's an unusual exception. Okay? From time to time, for example, yes?
What's the word for
A daemon. D-A-E-M-O-N. Daemon process. I do not have the marker right now. So, daemon process. Another example of parent process ID 1 is zombie process. Zombie process is consuming the 100% CPU, nothing do that, just hang the entire system. For example, if your code has the infinity loop, okay, no way. So at that time, the operating system give up. Okay, even though parent log out, so for example, when you have the very naughty children, so it's out of my hand, then he or she can do whatever they want, right? So that is the zombie process. The only solution, kill them. You can send up, really, it's a kill signal. You can send a kill signal, it's a command to remove all the resource of the process, okay? That is a kill signal. Kill means, kill in the operating system means to send a signal to terminate the process. We will discuss later. Okay. Also, you can see some more information about the process. Process need to communicate each other. Okay. How can they communicate? TCP/IP. TCP/IP is just one of the examples for communication. Usually, it's used for inter-server. Okay. So what else? If you are using the same server, local server, why don't we connect why don't we communicate with the share the resource? Like we have the bulletin board. This is shared by the all student. Then somebody put the information here. Then the other can take a look at, sometimes pick up. So shared memory. You can use a shared memory. Also, you can use data structure that you learned in your data structure course or average course or network course, like the pi. You know the pi? And first in, first out, and Q is the first in, first out, FIFO, right? And there are stack and the first in, last out, something like that. Using such a data structure, you can communicate. For example, of the Q, you can put a message in. So I'm very busy, okay? So I'm the consumer, you are the provider, okay? So you can put all the requests. I need to take this course, the post message. This is the first. Next. Then I can communicate with you using this, the table. Okay, first in, first out. That's a queue. Then you can communicate. So also there is an inter-process communication protocol. So that uses some resource in operating system. We will discuss about that. So this is the IPCS is to command to see such a message queue. How many message queue are using in this operating system? You can use a shared memory like the bulletin board. Also, you can use a semaphore. What is a semaphore? We will see. This is a data structure anyway. As I said, most of the questions that you do not know, you can. But sometimes when I have the midterm final exam, the student answer data structure. Then you cannot get the credit. Okay? But usually I give the minimum point like a 0.25. Those who answer the data structure instead of blank. I hate the blank answer. Then followed by the memory management. So we will see how we can maximize the utilization of the memory. Okay. Then storage management. Also, especially nowadays, the storage size is bigger and bigger. Also, nowadays the size of data is not the terabyte. Terabyte is for personal use nowadays, right? All your personal computer, laptop, at least 1 terabyte, except mine. And petabyte is a small, medium-sized company. Okay, so the big company or like the Google and the Amazon, they use even at what is the next to the petabyte? Even you cannot remember. It's much bigger. Okay, total size of the data in worldwide digital only is exabyte. Can you imagine what's the exabyte? It's bigger and bigger anyway. So we are going to discuss about the mass storage. Okay. This slide shows the size of the mass storage with the speed. So you can see the typical size as well as the speed of it. Also nowadays the protection and security of the operating system is very important. Did you watch the news today? How many of you watched the picture? No? The Apple iCloud was hacked the last few days, and I think her name is, it's a Hunger Games, the main actress. Yes, her pictures are released, and also Barbara Upton. What's her name? Yes,
Jennifer.
Yes, wife of the baseball player. Anyway, so more than 100 of the, when you are using the Android or the iPhone, so they are asking whether you are going to synchronize with the cloud. Okay, what is a cloud? Cloud is cloud. As name implies, we cannot see what that is. Okay, it can form this way, but we can store the data through the internet network. Okay, So mostly when you are using the small device, one of the limitation of such a small device is the storage. So 36 gigabyte the iPhone is much expensive than the 16 gigabyte because it used the different the storage media. It's not like the disk and disk come like that old fashioned. It's too big, even cheap. So they need to use the SSD. The storage is memory based storage, but expensive. So they can use the network device. It's a cloud. It's called the cloud computing. The problem is, if it's hacked, it's opened, if there's a security hole, everybody can access such information, like the iCloud hacking the last few days. Okay? Some will search the Google. I didn't see it. Okay, so that is the problem of the protection and security. So we will see briefly how the operating system protect their system. Okay, then you will realize why nowadays the hacking is a big problem. Their security level and protection level is very simple, and unless it's the encrypted. Okay, for that encryption, it's expensive. Okay, the encryption means we need to change it using the code or the other data structure, which means we need to decode. So to process such a data, for example, if the iCloud data are encrypted, even though they are released to the public, they cannot see negative code, right? It's just like the bunch of the 0 or 1. However, to see such a encrypted data, they need to decode. Decode means you need to first have a key or something, the format of that the coding, then process. It takes some time. Okay, that is the reason it's expensive. Then I don't think the iCloud Apple used such an encryption to protect their data. But we are not going to cover such the encrypted part. But we will see how operating system protect their user and data. Unfortunately, operating system, the modern operating system has been developed based on the standalone system, okay, not multi-user system, which means the first time they don't care about the security and protection. So that causes actually the problem. I'm teaching the big data system. Big data system has the same problem, how to protect the data. Okay. Computing environment has been changed. I'm not going to explain the traditional computing environment. I believe you, because you already took the computer architecture as well as the networks course. So I think you believe you guys understand the traditional computing environment, but it's changing now. Using the mobile device. What is a mobile device? It's a computer. Same computer as you had before, but it's connected to the network through wireless. There, using the wireless. So that means it can be anywhere. So that changes the computing environment, like the smartphone, okay, changes the architecture of the computing system and even application. Think about the cloud system. So a long time ago we don't need such a cloud system, but nowadays, for example, using Amazon. Amazon is not only for the purchasing the books or the item or even movie, but also it can provide the computer environment. You don't have to purchase the new laptop. Instead, as long as you can connect, you can create a cluster system within a minute by paying just a couple of bucks. Okay? So if you own your the company, but it's just a startup company, so you do not have enough money, budget, revenue for that to make the very fancy, nice IT department at the time. You can pay just $100 a month, then you can have the web server and the very nice storage, all that include all the application. Even you can customize. Why don't you try? You can use such an Amazon cloud service. Okay. So it's more and more distributed environment. So, but unfortunately, we do not have enough time. Mostly, such a distributed operating system is offered by the separate section. It's advanced operating system, something like that. But I don't know whether the UB has a plan to offer such a distributed operating system. Instead, we have the distributed parallel programming in terms of the programming part, and also I offer the distributed parallel database that focuses on the data management, but that's changed to the big data system. So if you are interested in such a distributed computing environment or distributed operating system, you can take such a course. This is old-fashioned client server, like the web server and the web browser. This is traditional. But nowadays it's peer-to-peer, such as uTorrent. Torrent. Are you using the torrent? I'm using a lot to download the Korean drama and movie. Is it legal, illegal to download such a, for example, movie? For which one is the recent one? I think the Stone. Which one is the very popular movie nowadays? Anyway, so if you download such a movie, somebody released the original copy of that. But this is not camcorder. It's just HD quality. So is it legal or illegal? It's legal for personal use. Okay? But personal means within a family. If you watch the downloaded movie with your the children, that's okay. Then delete it. It's fine. But if you share that one with our family, it will be illegal. But it's very, very complicated, sophisticated, the rule. Okay? So which means if I share the downloaded movie with you, that's illegal. Okay, definitely. But if I just watch for me, it's okay. But what about the torrent? You are going to share just piece of, right? That can be illegal. Even though part of it, that may be illegal. What about some, so which website are you using when you download, when you find the torrent file? For example, pirate or the Kick-Ass. So such a thing, is it legal or illegal? It's a controversial. Currently, it's not legal. It's not illegal because it's not content. It has the information where it is. Okay, but it's discussing now. So that's the reason still pirate they still exist. Okay, but like the Napster, is it Napster? The movie sharing is based on the peer-to-peer.
Netflix.
I think, what is the name of that site?
It was peer-to-peer music.
The movie sharing, the P2P site.
Qualcomm.
Alright, it has been time used. Anyway, the music P2P site is actually right now is illegal. It's the huge lawsuit effort. So pretty much because the government would like to protect the content provider, so it will be changed. So you should be careful when you download, when you are using the file. So if you share your file through the P2P, the torrent, it may be illegal. Okay. Then once you download, remove all the information. I don't know. So you need to check such a policy. Then nowadays, virtualization is the newbie in computing environment. So I want to use the both the Linux and the Windows system, the old-fashioned style. How did you do that? How could you use the two operating systems 10 years ago? You can install both Linux and Windows at the same time in different partition of your hard disk drive. Then install the certain program to select which operating system you are using. I think it's the Roadrunner in Windows and Lilo in Windows system, the Unix system. Okay, so instead of the master boot record, that from the BIOS program, when BIOS programs the code, the first kernel program, instead of kernel, the program will start and the user can select one of the operating system. That's old-fashioned. It's a dual booting. I think that many of you used such a thing long time ago. But nowadays you don't have to do that. Instead, you can install virtual machine. Virtual machine is, its name implies, it's a virtual machine, virtual operating system. So in software level, you can install another operating system. Nowadays, this is very, very important. I can see a lot of job description that are looking for the person who can do such a virtual the machine. So like this one, when you have the hardware, so you can have the virtual machine manager. This is a software level. This one is running one operating system. Okay. So for example, VM player, you can download the VM player. It's a free software. It can be running on the Linux, Windows, whatever. Then on top of this one, you can install the virtual machine. Or virtual dog from Oracle is another example for this one. Please do not throw away the gun. It's bothering me. Keep bothering. Okay, that is a virtual machine. So, in other words, this software can handle. It's not the general application program. It's almost operating system because this one can handle system resource. Also, it can be converted into other operating systems, kind of in the middle. So from the user, it looks like the real operating system. I'm using a lot of the virtual machine for my big data system course. For example, I'm trying to show one of the example of this one. So Cloudera is the company who provide the big data solution. They already install the product, okay, in the virtual machine, then provide